My Hero Academia, 10 Smartest Villains, Ranked. Good villains make a story like My Hero Academia worth experiencing, and these are some of the most intelligent and cunning of the lot. Heroes are only ever as great as the villains they face. This is something comic book fans have learned long ago. Never have the Avengers shined more than in the confrontation against Thanos. Rivalries like the one between Marvel's Iron Man and Mandarin or DC's Batman and Joker always draw both the best and the worst out of everyone's favorite characters. My Hero Academia reiterates that rule by pitting heroes both young and old against intelligent criminals who challenge and destroy everything around them. Even the symbol of peace, All Might, has trouble smashing some of these cunning villains. This article contains manga spoilers. 10. The hero killer Stain reinforces his flawed ideology with cunning efficiency. The hero killer Stain Kaizo Makaguro appears as the main villain in the anime and manga after the U.A. Sports Festival. He believes hero society is corrupt, with heroes having a tendency to focus on showmanship and glory rather than actually saving people. The only hero he considers genuine is All Might. Originally, he works as a vigilante under the name Stendhal, but chooses the name Stain after he starts his self-assigned mission of culling the world of fake heroes. His ideology has its flaws. As All Might himself relies on showmanship to create the symbol of peace. Even so, Stain is ruthlessly efficient in hunting down heroes, using his blood-curdle quirk in swift and cunning ambush attacks. Through his extraordinary abilities, he murders 17 heroes and critically injures 24, the final one being Tenya Ida's brother, Tensei. 9. Mr. Compress hides his true intentions with a twist of his wrist. A showman and magician, Atsuhiro Seiko uses his quirk to compress anything he touches into a small marble ball. His versatile ability has allowed him to both capture enemies and rescue wounded allies. Mr. Compress uses his quirk with great cunning, hiding his true intentions and often displaying decoy marbles to fool his opponents. During the Vanguard action, Squad's attack, he kidnaps Katsuki Bakugo and Fumikage Tokoyami. The other young heroes try to save their friends, only to be fooled when they learn Compress had been holding the marbles in his mouth the whole time. 8. Jiren provides the League of Villains with information and new members. While not the most dangerous villain in the world of MHA, Jiren Kajiro Okuda certainly stands among the most intelligent ones. His quirk, Muddiness, allows him to cause amnesia in its target, a tool he uses to great effect throughout his successful criminal career. An information broker, he is the one who brings villains like Dabi and Himiko Toga to the League. He notices the effect Stain's ideology will have upon society. Skilled in supporting fellow villains for a price, he has a great deal of knowledge about the resources he provides. The underbelly of hero society wouldn't be nearly as dangerous without him. 7. Redestro is a corporate CEO and a challenge for the League of Villains. The leader of the Meta Liberation Army, Redestro originally wishes to dismantle the League of Villains. He is able to correctly extrapolate that the League can no longer access Nomu, his guess based only on Dabi's words and behavior after the High End's attack on Endeavor, so he lures them to Daika City by kidnapping Jiren. After losing to Tamura Shigaraki, he becomes one of the leaders of the Paranormal Liberation Front and Shigaraki's lieutenant. When he isn't leading an army prepared to overthrow hero society. He's a corporate CEO for Detnerat, using the company as a front for his criminal activities. 6. Overhaul invents his quirk erasing bullets using Ares' blood. The main villain in Season 4 of the anime, Kai Chisaki, is convinced quirks are a plague on modern society. He wishes to eliminate them. And to this end, he turns his quirk against the leader of the Shai Hasaikai, even if he sees the man as a father. Now in charge of the Yakuza, he uses Ares' blood to invent his quirk erasing bullets. He manipulates Eri into thinking her ability is a curse and uses her against the heroes who are trying to save her. 5. Tomura Shigaraki is one of the biggest threats the heroes have to face. The leader of the League of Villains, Tomura is a preeminent threat from his very first appearance at the USJ. His confrontation with Eraserhead goes poorly for the hero, although Shota Aizawa succeeds in saving his students through a superhuman effort. Tomura displays more of his potential during the battle with Gigantomachia. And later with the Meta Liberation Army. He comes up with a strategy relying on using Gigantomachia against Redestro. Unfortunately, his upbringing makes him too reliant on All for One. In the first seasons, he often needs Kurogyri to control his outbursts of temper. Later, he becomes a tool and a vessel for All for One, so fans may never know the true extent of his intelligence. 4. Dabi hides in plain sight to fight a war against his abusive father. Dabi first appears as the leader of the Vanguard Action Squad. He successfully uses twice doubles to distract Eraserhead and Vlad King. And sets fire to the forest using his quirk, Cremation. The strategy, coupled with further assistance from fellow villains like Mr. Compress, leads to the success of the operation to kidnap Bakugo. But he only truly begins to shine after All for One's fall, during the Paranormal Liberation arc. It then becomes obvious that he's been using the League of Villains the whole time to achieve his final goal of defeating his abusive father. Endeavor. He hides his real psychotic personality behind a stoic facade, but he doesn't particularly care about any of his allies. He manipulates twice, forcing Hawks to kill Hyman Act, which he then uses against the hero. His ruthless intelligence makes him an opponent to be feared. 3. The Hero Public Safety Commission is a group of villains pretending to fight for good. There's nothing more cunning for a villain to do than to convince everyone they are a hero. The Hero Public Safety Commission is the perfect example. An organization meant to oversee heroes and watch over the safety of the public, they are actually vicious and corrupt. They use assassins like Lady Nagant to eliminate innocent people who stand in their way. After Lady Nagant defects, they mold pro-hero Hawks into a similar tool, training him to be a double agent. Amoral and manipulative, this organization easily earns the right to be called a villain, even if they supposedly stand for the forces of good. 2. All for One is a criminal mastermind and skilled manipulator. The main antagonist in MHA, All for One is All Might's greatest nemesis. His quirk allows him to steal other people's abilities. And throughout his long life, he creates an arsenal of expertly honed battle skills. Some of his stolen quirks include Super Regeneration, Air Cannon, Search, Warp, and Life Force. And he can use all of them at once. But what makes him even more dangerous is his keen intellect and his ability to manipulate others. He successfully builds a criminal empire that spans generations. He raises Tenko Shimura to worship him, turning him into the villain Tomura Shigaraki and viciously using him against All Might. It's all part of a long-term strategy that allows him to create the ultimate vessel for his consciousness, Tomura's body. 1. Kyudai Garaki is the mad scientist behind All for One's criminal empire. Dr. Kyudai Garaki is loyal to only two things: his own mad experiments and All for One's criminal empire. His quirk, Life Force, allows him to extend his longevity, although the version he uses is a duplicate, not the original one. He invents the monstrous Nomu, twisted creations originating from more than one corpse. It is believed that he uses this process on his own grandchild, Katsuki Bakugo's childhood friend, known only as Tsubasa. He supports Tomura Shigaraki, but only to achieve his ultimate goal, that of creating a new vessel for All for One. His brilliance is only matched by his utter insanity.